Hey everyone, Dr. Mike Dusa here, MTFU Longevity Podcast. How are you? I hope you're having a lovely, Wednesday all day. We had Chef Andre Rush on the Longevity Podcast last night. What a fantastic guy. All of our guests have been. I really do thank him. He imparted a lot of wisdom and knowledge about his life and what he's done to be so successful, and how he operates at such a high level. In his 40s. He's not by any means old. Of course, we age here, but we don't get old. That's the whole premise. So I'm talking about pain today. Denise woke up today and she had to chase the dog and bring the dog into the vet. She had to put herself into rapid action the minute she got up, and she discovered that her back was very, very stiff. She has good general health overall, but extremely stiff back. And then she noticed pain, and this is something she doesn't usually notice because her day is a little more innocuous than just chasing dogs every morning. So we discussed it a little bit, and no, she didn't want a chiropractic adjustment from me. She goes to Dr. Carpenos. You've got to maintain that objectivity. And by the way, when you join, please put down in the chat box if you suffer any kind of pain, what it's from, what you think it is, what you can do for it, or ask me some questions, and I'll be sure to respond to you via messenger. I won't be able to do today because this is a short video. In any event, pain. So she has some pain, and this lends to stiffness. And what is stiffness? Stiffness, healthy muscle works like this. Stiffness creates this, and you get decreased range of motion. Decreased range of motion in a joint will increase your pain. So increased pain, decreased range of motion leads to increased pain. So it's this vicious cycle that we fall into, and it's awfully hard to break out of it, especially the longer we're in it. And something else nefarious happens that people don't consider. You get collateral damage from that. Okay, what happens is, let's say it's my shoulder and I can no longer move it around. I develop something called frozen shoulder, which occurs in older folks from injury or misuse or disuse. And that could be pretty bad. It could be surgical. But that being said, let's say we have that and I'm not using this area. Well, over the long term, I start to recruit muscle from here and maybe my neck and maybe my middle back here. Other ancillary mechanisms and anatomies in the area work to make up for that shoulder not working, and they overwork, and they become beset with dysfunction, and sometimes the muscles will lock up, and you get pain there, and then you have another arc to break. So what I'm really talking about is when you're in these shadowy halls of pain, shall we speak, and you're in them for a long time, your body's homeostasis is interrupted, it's wrecked, and it's in need of eradication. Is it too late? Well, it's never too late to improve. It depends on how much scar tissue you have. Once you have scar tissue, remember, what is your pain from? Is it from a traumatic incident? Is it from repetitive motion disorder? Is it from sitting in a very poor posture at your desk with your head forward? And that would cause damage to the tissue over time. So you really have to know the etiology, where it's coming from. Most of the people I talk to over time, most of the time they're kind of either sketchy on where their pain occurred, or they don't know at all. Of course, sometimes it's a traumatic incident. This is when I fell in the snow, or this is when I got hit by the car. So you have to know that, and you have to know the mechanism of injury, and 90% of the diagnosis comes from that. So you got to know where it's coming from. But if you have this pain of discomfort of unknown etiology, that could be dangerous. You never know. A person could come in with back pain, and if I'm not good at what I do, I say, well, that's a muscle, but it could be the prostate referring pain there. If there's some negative process going on in the prostate, it could be a kidney infection, could be a tumor, it could be a lot of different things. So again, you've got to figure that out. But okay, I mentioned knee pain. I've been waking up with severe knee pain lately. Now listen, I haven't gone to the gym in 10 weeks. I have not leg pressed. I have not done any type of squat, a sumo squat, anything like that, a kettlebell squat. I haven't done leg extensions. I haven't done, hi Dave, how are you? I haven't done walking lunges with dumbbells. So I haven't done any of those things that increase the pressure on a knee plateau right there. And especially if John DeFendis is listening, I'm sorry, I do cardio. And I happen to do my 40 minutes 4 times a week of cardio on the step mill and impacting the knee. I haven't done any of that. We go for brisk walks here, but as far as impaction on the body, that's lame. It's almost incidental. So why is this happening? Well, listen, we're losing cartilage, the padding between the bones, all the time, just by existing on this earth, even if you're inactive, okay? Just by being exposed to the elements. So all over time, even though I've always been pristine in my form and using the best correctness and you know, moving the weight instead, working the muscle instead of just moving weight. You know, it's true, I don't go very heavy. I never have. When I was younger, I did for a short spell. I was pretty strong. I wasn't like Chef Rush last night, 315-pound bench when he was 13. That's called an enigma. Well, it's probably also known as a myostatin block in his body, but that's a different issue. So what's happening? Why would I suddenly burst into pain on one particular morning after not having any type of etiology or cause? Why would that happen? Well, I finally lost enough cartilage because it gets down to a point where you've got these little tiny nerve roots that feed into different areas of the body, and they seek stimulation. They seek stimulation for good reasons. For instance, in the knees, there are nerve roots. They work on something called proprioception, and they are barometers to allow you to walk without looking at your legs. In other words, you can tell where your legs are without looking at them. That's called proprioception. So the nerves do that. The nerves also perceive stimulation. Now, overstimulation can lead to pain. That could be a noxious stimuli. It could be from overuse. Could be from improper weight bearing. All that stuff. So what happened with me? Why did I all of a sudden bound into this pain? And this is what I'm assuming happened. I finally lost enough cartilage, and we're talking infinitesimal amounts over time. Finally lost just by maybe walking one day, where those little tiny nerve roots were finally exposed to the noxious pressure of simply walking. And that's how it works. And ordinarily, again, 90% of the diagnosis comes from, well, either what a patient would tell me or what I experience myself, because I am my own lab. I go with what works for me. This doesn't work for everyone. So what do I do? Now all of a sudden I'm walking. Listen, I'm walking like with a really bad gait. Hey Gary, pain distinguishes the stick to it folks from the quitters. Assess, modify, seek doctors if all has failed. Right, yeah, but that doesn't mean that no pain, no gain thing, Gary. I don't really like. It's really, we look for discomfort. Pain is never a good thing. I know what you mean. You're right. When I'm speaking with gerontologists, doctors who work with the elderly, they each tell me the biggest downside with age, the one contributing observation and complaint, is pain. Oh yeah, and the problem is, you look at Ronnie Coleman, and I love Ronnie, and Ronnie has something called chronic pain. I know he's on the camera and he's saluting his 800-pound bench and squat and all that stuff, but I got to tell you, chronic pain like that will wear you down and change your personality. It will change your life. It will make things difficult for those around you. It's a game changer. It'll really, listen, people kill themselves. People self-medicate. People destroy themselves with external synthetics, drugs, alcohol, what have you. And there's very powerful drugs out there now. And then you've got the opioid crisis, as they call it. It's kind of political. Listen, this stuff's always been out there. Depends on who you talk to at any given time. There's always a crisis or something. In these tough times, they're always tough. Have a good day, have a bad day. The net result, have one more good day than bad days, and then you had a good life. So go with that. But we're talking about pain. We want to get rid of the pain, the discomfort. And you should never have it. You should not have it. It's like eating. I tell you guys all the time, my barometer of a successful eating style is I'm never full and I'm never hungry. I'm always in the middle. That's homeostasis. The body is one with itself. It's you don't notice that your body is there. You know what it's like to feel good. That's one of the metrics that we use, and a lot of people lose that biofeedback. They always feel crappy. They're always in pain, so they no longer notice it, and it does affect them because they live at a much lower level. We're all about high standards here. I just got Pete Cox to sign on for the podcast, and Pete's another big figure in Hollywood, and played in the NFL for many years, and he's preserved. He's looks 10 times younger than me. I think he's a little older than me. I'm 56. I think he might be 57 or 58, but he'll tell you all the same stuff. He'll tell you more than I could tell you as far as all this is concerned. You've got to age well without getting old. There's always cell death occurring, and I've talked about this. The gene that has at the end telomeres, and the shorter they get, the older you get. So it's all about extending those and keeping them lengthy. It's another issue. We've got videos up on that, and I could write something on that, of course. That's what I do. These are the things you want to do. So again, pain is telling you something. So as far as my knees go, now I'm walking with a limping gait. It's just started today. What will I do? I will knock the pain out as quickly as possible. So we're looking at eradicating a pain arc, okay, a deleterious pain arc. I call it different things, pain arc complex, whatever you want to call it. Increased pain, decreased range of motion. I've said this little box, and it keeps going, and it starts spinning real fast, and then it's out of control, and you're just done. Then your body produces all these negative stressor chemicals, cortisol, all these other pain mediators. The body becomes polluted, and you become sick. And this is all from one little area that starts up. both of my knees. I've got to decrease the pain so I can regain normal range of motion and not recruit, let's say, my quadricep tendons or my tibialis anterior muscle or my hamstrings, or I start bending over and it screws up my posture, and then I can't sleep. And then I've got issues there, and I'm not secreting enough growth hormone or testosterone because of lack of sleep, and I'm not getting into REM. And then I wake up and I'm miserable, and I'm trying to meditate, and I can't clear my mind. I can't clear the mechanism, and I can't center on that area of pain and localize it to one area so I know what to attack each day. And if you can't do these things, your pain will never go away. Now, some of you are thinking, man, I'm gonna have a martini. I had one the other night. I'm gonna get me some opioids. Nice to have people come in the office, and I don't prescribe, and they'd whisper, "Hey doc, can you get me some perks?" And I'd say, "No." And even if I could, I wouldn't, because they're just looking for the easy way out. However, I will tell you this: if you've got the type of pain, I had a condition in my leg called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. You may have seen pictures of it. I crushed my knee. My mind was sending pain signals to my knee. The sympathetic nervous system would not shut off even when the knee healed. I had surgery on the knee. So I have this element in my body. I don't heal very well. So the message kept being sent no matter what. For 3 years, I was on crutches. In the leg, what happened? The results of injury: swelling, breaking of capillaries, fluids put into the area. You get inflammation. You get all of those other negative mediators. You get that pain arc once again. And it is so painful. Listen, I was injecting morphine 6 times a day. It wasn't even touching it. So I polluted myself. I had to have my liver cleansed after that. And could I help it? I don't know. I don't think so. If I had the knowledge I have now, maybe. That was 30 years ago. So what do I do? So when you have something like that, you must get out of pain as quickly as possible. I know some of the granola heads, I say this lovingly, everything's got to be natural. Everything is all woody and in the forest and the natural elements, and that's all. No. Medicine and surgery exists for a reason. You need it sometimes. And when you have this type of pain, inflaming, lancinating, intractable pain that won't go away, and it's causing this problem in the area of involvement, well, I'll show you what I take in a second. The 2 things that have been really helping me, but you might want to take something prescribed by your doctor, either a corticosteroid, an opioid, something like that, just a short course to get you out of pain. Once you're out of pain, look, you go into the hospital now, you have knee surgery, they start physical therapy the next day. It's none of this wait 2 week nonsense anymore. They get you on it, they get you working, because they're trying to kickstart the body to heal it on its own. And it can do it, man. You're a self-contained unit. You are your own lab. I've been telling you guys this for a long time. I'm learning it too. I'm not telling you anything. All of this I had to learn the hard way. Laying in hospital beds, becoming homeless, living in the Y, me and my dog, how pathetic. And then I rose, because it happens. It's America. Clear mind, crystal clear goal, work hard, and you get it. But listen, you've got to break that pain arc. So yeah, I had my run with all kinds of meds. I think at the time I was under pain management. I did so many pain meds that they caused damage. They actually held me back. I lost time, our most valuable currency. I don't want to lose any more time. I don't want to feel bad ever. I'm the biggest hypochondriac. If I feel something, I can't figure it out, I'm off to the doctor. You all know I get my blood panels done every quarter. My crap old insurance, I got to drop 800 every quarter. But I need those numbers. They are my barometer. I know where they are when they're their best. And if they're a little off, I adjust what I do. Everything is related. Homeostasis. Told you about that. You have this pain, you have this dysfunction, you no longer have homeostasis. And you got to reestablish that. Like I said earlier, are some people too far afield from that? Listen, the more time behind you, the less time you have ahead of you. If you smoke, for instance, from my respiratory therapy days, if you smoke, theoretically, let me just take a sip. If you smoke for 1 year, emphysematous changes if you have a genetic proclivity for this to happen. It doesn't happen to everyone. Emphysematous changes will occur in your lungs if you smoke for a year. And theoretically, if you stop smoking for a year totally, your lungs will clear themselves up. The body's very powerful. You know what the problem is with the power of immunity in the body? It's so powerful that, let's say you can have like a little, let's say a pineal gland tumor in the brain area, okay? It starts off really small. And you don't know it. I mean, it might grow very slowly, snail's pace, for 20 years. And all of a sudden, your optic nerve is affected and you can't see, or you start walking with the scissors gait. Various things can start to go haywire, and you go get examined. They say you've got a tumor. You think that tumor just started those problems. No, your tumor was growing for years and years and years, but your body's so powerful, it protects you from knowing that. You have a nefarious process going on in your body. It releases noxious toxins into the body, but the human, your body, the good guys, have little chemical soldiers to fight those factors and push them back, so you don't realize that they're correcting them, but the cause is still there. So listen, you can have all kinds of processes going on, and sometimes you don't know it until it's too late. So going back to, is it too late for you? You're now 60 and you've lived a long life, the ups and downs, but maybe you weren't so good to yourself, and you're, I don't know, however number of pounds overweight, 60 pounds overweight. You've got a lot of scar tissue from maybe injury or poor servitude to yourself. You got a lot of things going on, a lot of collateral damage, compensation, and you don't even know where to start. Well, you could always improve. Can you get back? Can you totally clean the slate? You may not have enough time, but you definitely start living better. It's your choice. This is kind of rah-rah. Anybody could say this. I believe in acting upon things. I mean, look, I could say I'm Mr. Universe. You all know I'm not. I could say anything I want. But I'm very, very given to giving you information that is of utility. Even if you get one little thing out of this to act upon it, try it, and improve your life a little today and get out of that. Listen, some people, I know this is nuts, and to me it's the greatest perversion. Some people are proud of their pain. They like having the handicap marker for their car. They like walking with a cane. I'm telling you, it's something to talk about. It makes them feel important. Listen, everybody's important. Just be important to yourself, self-happiness. And then maybe if that extends to people around you, that's fantastic. If not, you'll be alone but not lonely. I can tell you that. I mean, I was walking with a cast in my arm once from a various injury, and I'm walking along the shore. Excuse me, I think it was with my sister, and some elderly gentleman comes up and he says, "I see that cast. Let me tell you about the time I fell off the ladder in '76, and it was, I don't know, I might have been impolite at the time, I don't know, but I don't want to hear it. I don't care. If you're under my auspices, you're under my umbrella, I'm helping you. I care more than I care about myself. But if you're just trying to tell a story, that's not repairing anything. That's the wrong type of focus. It's negative, and it does us no good whatsoever. Let's work on solutions and corrections, and minding your own business. Leave me alone." I wish the guy well. I'm sure he's fine now. But so what do I do? What do I do with the knees? Well, I'm using two things. I've told you this. You hear about CBD, cannabinoid. I've heard cannabinoid and cannabinoid. It's an element of the hemp plant. Marijuana, you've heard about it. It doesn't have any THC in it yet. Connecticut doesn't allow it. So it doesn't pack as much punch as it could as far as breaking the pain arc. And we talked about this. And I also use something. It's a homeopathic. Arnica montana. I'm not going to go too much into these because I've had videos out about these and whatnot. And this is not advice. This is just discussion, information as far as what I do for myself. Michael Canacion. Hey, man. You're from the old neighborhood. You're one of mine, Michael. What's up, Paisan? I hope so. I'm waiting to hear from my doctor about my knee surgery. I'm just worried about being led up. Well, I don't know what you mean by led up, Mike, but never worry. Worrying doesn't help. You have to not care. So you go and you traverse the tangent of irresponsibility, but you don't quite dip your toes into it because then you're irresponsible. But you got to release yourself all that worry. You're depending on a doctor. Sounds like he's not calling you back. Go there. Knock on his door. Go there. I hate the phone. People lie. People, I don't know the guy. Okay, but what you just told me, it's you are your responsibility. Okay, so find out and send me a private message. Let me know what's going on. I might be able to help you somehow. I don't know. It's all about information. But the arnica, you got to be careful because taking it as a pill or a rub or an ointment is okay. If you take it in the flower form, it can be toxic. It can kill you. Listen, too much water can kill you. But, the studies are out to lunch. This is what I read. Always go on the border on the edge of being responsible and being cautious, obviously. So you don't want to do that, okay? But both of these help to block pain mediators. And, basically, I just take the I take the oil. It's a balm, okay, and I just rub it on just like this, both knees, and along the borders here, right here where the menisci, the little paddings are. I think this is where my problems are, and I do both knees a few times a day because it does rub off. And what does it do? Listen, it's topical. It's topical, so it doesn't necessarily go right to the root. It's not an injection. It's not invasive. It's not iontophoretic, where I would be using an ultrasound head and using a medium to deliver it deep into the tissues. But listen, it's enough to take the edge off. Okay, it takes the edge off. It doesn't do anything. It helps. Nothing does anything. You must do. All of the external implements allow you to launch, okay, and get back. If you're a fat person and you're thinking, I'm going to take this pill, it does not go into your body like a little Pac-Man head, for those who remember Pac-Man, and go in and eat fat like this. It doesn't work like that. In fact, it's the over-the-counter stuff. They're basically appetite suppressants. They don't even, a couple of steps away from actually breaking down and burning fat off your body. Okay? Just got back in the gym this week, just don't want to sit home. Well, don't, Mike. Come on. All right? Get out there. This is America. It's the best. Get out there and self-actualize, brother. The gym just open. Get in there. Hey, listen. When I was on crutches, it was so bad I couldn't touch weights. My father would drop me off at the gym, and this is when they had a couch in the front. Just by being there, my head was better. Was I working out? No, I was still a fat slob. I looked like I looked like I lived in the woods. I lost everything. I lost my desire to even take care of myself. But being in there, was a positive environment. Then look, you go to a hardcore place like where I go, nobody cares. You're on crutches, so what? We got people in wheelchairs in there, all that stuff. I'm not saying you, Mike, I don't really know you, but you can't, nobody cares. The person who cares most about you is your mother, and even then, there's a limit. I mean, it's got to be your mother because you spent 9 months inside of her. How can you get any more close to human tissue than that, other than your own? But even still, if your mother does feed herself each morning in order to live and go about her daily doings, she puts herself first, even if it's brief, even if she doesn't think about it. So you're on your own. You're on your own. You got to heal yourself. You got to take it. Your doctor, you know what your doctor does? It's 168 hours in a week. You see him for 10 minutes. The other 167 hours and 50 minutes, you've got to take the information. He might give you a pill. He might give you a shot. What else does he do? Not much. Information. And if you're not implementing it and you're second guessing, don't come to me if you're going to second guess. You came to me for information. There's no negotiation. It may not be the right stuff. Then I send you out. But you come into my office years ago and you're trying to tell me how many bones are in the spine. Get the hell out. You don't need me. You need a pulpit to go out and speak loquaciously in utter bombast, just to impress no one, right? I know I sound very resolute. I'm called arrogant. I think anybody who knows me would disagree with that. It's just that I know very little, but what I know really well. And because I'm good at disseminating this information, I only attract people who are receptive to it. So anyone who comes here and they've got a problem, they're like a mole. But I don't know. They have answers in the pants no matter what. All right. Life is great, man. I can't see how people, yeah, you're beaten down by pain. But guess what? There's a solution. So have hope in that horizon. People head down, frowning, trudging along. Look, things are already getting better. Just don't watch the news. Things are getting much better. From what? From something that was much of a mental construct put upon you. Was there any real danger? Didn't come to my hood. And, I'm not a man of privilege. Listen, everything you see in here, I did on my own. Okay. You are only as good as the people around you. I do agree with that. Look at all the people. Look at all the wonderful people I get to talk to every day. The best in my industry, the best. And I'm not because anybody can do what I do, but I know how to plug myself in. I know who I want to use to deliver a certain message. This is all about information. We've talked about the fact that the most valuable thing are not your stocks, not your gold doubloons, not your house, not your cars, not your jewels, your baubles, your I don't know, your magazine collection, whatever it might be. It's information. How do these people do what you would like to do? How far afield are they really from you? How different are they from you? And we're finding out that not so much. It's really just how they think. Think, information, implement. What did I already tell you? So with the pain, that's what I do. And I use the Arnica. It's pill form, homeopathic. You can't touch it with your hand. You just pop it in your mouth. and that blocks pain receptors. So these two, although they're natural, they do enough for me to at least readopt normal walking gait. And what I'm going to do is get back to the gym. I'm going to work on the muscles a little bit. Listen, there's no magic, but I'll concentrate a little more on the quads, the muscles around the knee, because they're kind of gone right now anyhow. And I'll strengthen surrounding areas that will do more of the work that the knees are not doing right now. Goodbye pain. I'll always be mindful of it. I'll work on it all the time. All the, Chef Rush last night at the zenith of his profession, he's going to get a cooking show on Food Network, and he cooks for the presidents and works with Arnold. He does all these cool things. How is he different from me? Well, about 100 pounds of muscle for starters. But he'll even tell you it's just resolute. He's always done he'll do what he does anyhow, no matter what, no matter if there's focus or not focus. That's what he does, and it's information that he implements. And he said he's always this close. So you probably are too. You're probably this close from leading a pain-free life. You're just looking up the wrong tree. You're looking at a pill to do it for you. If you watch that video from yesterday, Chef Rush is wearing a hat that says there is no pill or something. It's something out of effect. There is no magic pill. And Arnold gave him the hat, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And what does that mean? That means what that means is this. When you see somebody flourishing in their success and they're occupying a rarefied space that perhaps you would like to occupy also, don't think that they're sitting back like Mr. Peanut with the top hat smoking a cigar just looking at the traffic going by. No, they're still working 80 hours. They don't really consider it work. Chef Rush was saying he sleeps 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night. He's just wired that way. He still feels good. I'm not going to put all that stuff upon him. Well, too much cortisone, you're not secreting HGH. There's other health indices that are affected. No, not necessarily. Could be an outlier. Everybody's different. But he's always working hard, which is what you should do on yourself. It's what I do. I slip. Listen, I'm the same body weight as this nonsense began where we were locked in. And I decided not to work out because I decided not to work out anyhow before this all happened. I was going to take 2 months off because I've been training, as you know, 5 years straight since I got off my disability. And my goal was to go and pose at the Coliseum in Italy and swim in the Trevi fountains and maybe get into trouble in Italy posing. And I did it. I did it maybe not so well, but I did it nonetheless. And it was a long, torturous course of training, and I did it as an older man in my early 50s. And in some ways, I think I eclipsed what I did in my 20s, my 30s, maybe even my 40s. What does that prove? Proves a lot. You can be better than you were in a different way. So I needed a break. My body I started getting up in the morning, and it wasn't like a focal thing in my knees. It was just like a general malaise. I knew I had to take a break. So I chose 2 months. We're going to do nothing. See what happens. Watch my food, go for my walks, but focus on business, focus on other things. So now it's been extended to 3 months, and it's too much. So my weight didn't change, but listen, I'm awfully soft, gooey. Muscles on memory. Hopefully mine don't have amnesia. I'm going to get back to the gym this Wednesday. In 10 weeks until my birthday, I do the birthday training system. My contest is my birthday each year, September 2nd. I'll be 57. And my reward is a physique that is likened to a moving statue. I don't think it's going to happen this year. The idea is to get a little better every year. I'm behind right now, so whatever. But it gives me something. Maybe I train with greater verve, harder, do things differently, do a little less here and there, and always be mindful of the specter of injury coming, even if you're doing things right, because things wear down, they wear out, and even when your tires go bald on your car, you can change your tires, but things start to go bald, metaphorically speaking, in your body. You can't change much. You got what you got, and that's it. So you got to work it as hard as you can, be respectful to it. And on your last dying day, you're going to know in your head that you did everything you could. You're very welcome, Mike. Shoot me a message if you want. Thanks, everybody. So that's it about pain. A topical, something natural is good. If you got to get an opioid or something like that just to get out of pain and reestablish normal range of motion, that is everything. Do that, okay, and then get off it. But again, that's not advice, just information. Talk to your doctor. Find out what is best. Be your best. And you do have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow night with super lawyer Rick Collins, main advisor to the supplement and bodybuilding industry. You won't want to miss that one. Then we got John Hansen, Natural Mr. Olympia, on Friday, and a lot of good Hollywood people coming up next week. So you be well, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.